Okay, Uncle Don, we're going to talk to you a minute about a couple of stories we'd like to hear about. Dad used to tell me about getting scared seeing a spacecraft from outer space come across the farm.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, that back then had Camp Tyson over there on the Speech Farm, and they had these silver balloons. They were big. They were big as this house, I guess. And I remember the first one I ever seen. Life scared me to death. I thought the world was coming to the end, you know. And one time, one got loose over there, and it come frankly over the house, and ended up in New York City. The cable hung the back end of a car and flipped it over. New York City.
Now, were those like
Got that
weather
far.
balloons or what?
Hey, it was
Do you know what they're
helium,
used
I
for?
guess, in it. I don't know what they filled them with. But
Apparently those wires were supposed to keep enemy planes from coming in and
yeah, and seemed like
bombing.
Okay.
bullets must not affect them that much,
Yeah.
or they wouldn't. I'm sure they shot at these trying to get them down, but it didn't do any good. It didn't go down for several days. Apparently, it traveled all the way across country.
I guess it would have been pretty scary to see something flying in the air over the
Oh,
farm.
that big, yeah.
But Camp Tyson was like a military camp.
Okay.
But the first I ever seen it come up right looking out the porch, right straight across the field.
Oh no.
Come up just above the treetops and just sitting there.
Oh boy. Another thing I wanted to ask you about was a story of fireballs that you could see at night across the field or over the garden, different places. I always thought that was just a fairy tale.
Not
Did
really.
you ever see any?
Back when he and I were growing up, we had a graveyard there called the Dunn Graveyard, and I was milking cows. They had a fence there. They had fenced off a little lot there where we milked their cows. And I was milking the cows there one night after dark, and I seen a fireball come up out of the graveyard, and it was about, it must have been 18 inches in diameter. And just floated across, went across the road and went over in the woods and just disappeared. Well, that like scared me to death. And foxfire, you ever heard of foxfire?
No, sir.
Well, foxfire was a weed that grew up on the side of the road and it'd glow in the dark. And we see that, you know, and they called it foxfire. That's what Dad called it. And Dad had all these tales he told. There was a fellow buried in that graveyard called Mr. Irby. And I don't know what his first name was, but Dad would tell us all these bad tales about Mr. Irby. You had to watch Mr. Irby if he come out of that grave at night. And like I was saying earlier, it's dark at night out there. Well, we had a well out there by the pecan tree, and Mother'd say, "Don, we need a bucket of water." I said, "Have Ruby to draw it. I drawed the last one." Daddy'd say, "Son, you heard your mother." And I'd get up. I was scared of the dark too back then. Well, I was a big boy. I'd get up and go out there and draw a bucket of water, and cold chills just going up and down my back, you know, my hair stick right straight up, seemed like. And I was scared to death, and I'd get that water and run back to the house with it.
Well, just to point out something, Darren, Dad just told that story about the fireballs or whatever they were, and that's the same story I've always heard. It's never changed. So whatever he's seen,
Well,
it's
fireballs.
not, I don't believe he's making it up or anything else, or I don't think he was trying to
No.
scare us kids.
Well, fireballs and foxfire. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, foxfire.
Whatever that was, it's not around anymore.
Well, a foxfire probably still is.
Well, I haven't seen it.
But you'd have to be
But-
in.
But I remember growing up as a kid, and I really was curious about that. Could that possible? You know, these balls of fire, and there is, you know,
Well,
natural things of methane gas and
Well, it
different things
definitely
that
happened,
can
but
occur.
it definitely happened. But I mean, whatever it is, that's weird.
Yeah.
But so Mr. Kirby or Kirby was
Kirby.
that? But that was just he made that up, right?
No, he was buried there. He's
Oh,
got
okay.
a stone there.
Okay.
But he didn't come up out of
But
the
he didn't
grave.
come alive. And,
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
That's just a tale.
So Grandpa was always telling tales like that
Oh
for the
yeah.
kids.
Telling
Scary-
tales. He'd
scary.
tell about different things happening, you know. And
He liked to have fun, didn't he?
yeah, he's a fun guy. Yeah.
He liked to have fun.
And he would he'd make a game out of picking up pecans. We had 2 big pecan trees. And Daddy would make a game out of picking up pecans, see who could pick up the most pecans in like an hour, you know. And then we would count our pecans. Little did we know he was using us for child labor.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were-
That's smart.
Yeah.
How did Pawpaw feel about his oldest daughter, who was 17, marrying a man twice her age?
Well, I think in the beginning, I don't think he thought it was a good idea, but I think later he was glad. He loved Willoughby a lot, and they went business together. Built a lot of houses together. Him and Uncle Ewan Underwood. And when Willoughby got sick with a stomach, I carried him to the doctor. He wouldn't go. I went over and I took the first look at him. I said, yeah, we're going. And I got him up out of his chair and a bed. And I carried him to the doctor. Dr. Newman was his doctor. He put him in the hospital and started doctoring him for a stomach. And during the time he was in there, he had a heart attack. And I went up at noon from work. I worked at a carburetor plant. I went up there, rushed up there to the hospital to see him. And Ruby said, Willoughby, he's having a heart attack. And I've called the doctor and he hadn't got here. Well, I went in there and took a look at him, and just as quick as I laid my eyes on him, I knew he was having a heart attack. Well, I went back to work and got off at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, and I went straight back up there. And Ruby said the doctor hadn't been in yet. And I went and took a look at Willoughby, and man, he was a bad way. And I went and got him myself. And he come in, and when he took the first look at him, he said, get him to the intensive care right now. And he went to work on him, but it was too late. He passed away.
You mentioned
next day.
they were building houses. Who designed their houses? How did they build houses?
Dad drawed all his plans for every house he ever built.
Did somebody teach him how to do that, or I mean?
Nah, it's just something he learned on his own, you know. Dad could do anything he wanted to do. If he needed something done, he did it. And he taught me the same way. And if he was building a house from the ground up, that a person that ordered a house built, you know, and they wanted a house built, he did their plans like they wanted it, and he built the house like they wanted it. But if he was building one just on the subdivision here to sell, then he did all of his plans himself and everything.
I've seen pictures of him as a policeman. So he left the farm to be a policeman.
Right.
Who took care of all that farming and all those responsibilities?
I did, me and Mother. We didn't, all we was raising at that time was corn, and we'd done quit cotton, and we was raising corn, and I took care of all not harvesting the corn, but taking care of all the line and cultivating, that type of thing. I did have Elroy. At that particular time, we had what we call a walk-in cultivator. Just before we got the tractor, and he put a seat on it for him, and he'd drive and keep the team in the right place on the road for me to do the cultivating with a walk-in cultivator. Then after we got the tractor, well, then I done the rest of it.
Did he carry a gun?
Yes, he did. 38 Smith and Western.
You kids probably weren't allowed to touch that, were you?
Well, I've shot it a few times out there in the yard with him, you know, but man, they had a kick to it. But he'd take you, you've seen these small pet milk cans, evaporated milk cans?
Sure.
Well, Mother used quite a bit of them back in, and he'd throw them out in the backyard, and he could just roll them all over the place.
With a pistol?
With a pistol.
Wow.
10 or 12 feet away from him.
Wow.
Yeah. He was good.
Anybody get real sick in the family that you remember? I know back then,
Well,
sickness was a real problem, and you know.
Yeah, Mother got real sick just before they got married, and had typhoid fever, and they've told us the story about that and how she almost died and lost her hair and everything, and then finally when she got to where she could eat, she could just barely suck on the end of a chicken wing, and later you said eat some greens, turnip greens.
She was 7 years old
Yeah,
when she
7
had
years
typhoid
old.
fever.
We all had chicken pox, that type of thing, measles, sore eyes, pink eyes they call them, and all that kind of stuff growing up.
What was your favorite food that Granny used to cook?
Oh, goodness.
Anything particular? I'd heard she liked chicken gizzards. She probably wrung in the neck of a lot of chickens.
Yeah, we ate a lot of chickens. I don't know, the favorite food for breakfast was always gravy and biscuits, you know. I was raised on gravy and biscuits. But we talking about chickens. She had an old red rooster, and he'd run me, flog me. And I'd tell Daddy about it, and he said, well, son, just kill him. Get you a stick and kill him. And boy, you shouldn't have told me that. I went and got me a tobacco stick. And I teased that old rooster trying to get him to run at me while I could hit him with that stick. Finally he did, and I just took his head off with that tobacco stick. Needless to say, we had rooster for supper that night.
Well, what about the story about you and Ruby and the fried eggs?
Fried egg.
Pouring the hot water.
Me and Helen.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Let's
and
take a
Helen?
break.
She's got him going the other way. You and Helen and the fried eggs when